This is a government plot to not have us talk about these two movies. I swear to God. They programmed my cat to be a dickhead.
Oh, my God.
They stopped your doctors from taking you on time.
Oh, my God.
This thing goes all the way to the top, Dave. Hey, I'm Blake.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the Dad Action episode of First Price Films, an incredibly macho podcast where we each select a genre-specific movie and pit them against each other to find out which film wins the coveted title of First Prize. Dave, what does that mean for us?
So it's like Elon's new truck.
Mm-hmm.
No one asked for this.
Literally nobody. It looks terrible.
Today we are mowing the lawn with these Dad Action films.
Oh, indeed we are, Dave.
I made Blake watch Olympus Has Fallen, a movie that severely disappointed me when Gerard Butler didn't shout, "This is America!"
I was waiting for it too. But Dave, I made you watch 2013's White House Down, aka White House Die Hard, and Everyone Sucks. So if you are watching this on YouTube right now, feel free to subscribe, and if you enjoy the show, a thumbs up might actually get your dad to come back from getting that pack of cigarettes 20 years ago.
It's not going to happen.
I'm sure he still loves you.
No, he doesn't.
So Dave, have you ever seen either of these movies?
Yes, I have. I saw Olympus Has Fallen many, many, many moons ago.
That checks out. These feel like Dave movies.
I feel offended. I don't know why, though.
Despite you not being a dad, these feel like your kind of movies to me. I don't know why.
I mean, I enjoyed them, when I was younger and didn't know what movies were. So
when you were 23, didn't know what movies were.
Yes, exactly. I had not seen a single movie yet. So I did. I really liked Olympus Has Fallen because I was a big Gerard Butler fan before. Again, I knew what acting was.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of dad movies, and I know these are definitely right up your alley.
I love them. I love them. Yeah, I've never seen either of these movies, but the one thing I did hear about both of them is like they're the same movie and blah, 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 and they get put on those lists with the other movies we've done this season, like Armageddon and Deep Impact, et cetera, et cetera. So I was interested to see what the appeal of these two movies are.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's pretty clear.
What?
Pretending to be a badass. You wish you could be a badass.
Well, that's fair. That's why these fall perfectly into the dad action category. You know, the
exactly.
type, the diehards and the Con Airs and all that stuff. It's everybody your dad wishes they could be and save and all that stuff, but still, only work 9 to 5 and come home.
Exactly.
And sit on the couch.
They sit there watching movies and go, I could save the country.
Liam Neeson ain't got shit on me.
if Liam Neeson can do it, I can do it.
But yeah, after seeing these movies,
you love the dad action genre now. I can tell. I can see it in your face.
Fucking fan for sure. You can tell how much I love these movies by how excited I am to talk about both of them.
It's basically you're talking about the same movie twice, which is your favorite thing to do.
My favorite thing. We are going to have to get into a little film called Olympus Has Fallen from 2013, starring the man who I wish was my daddy, Gerard Butler.
Don't like that you said daddy. We'll get past it.
We'll talk about it in couples therapy, Dave.
Great.
Movie 1, Olympus Has Fallen, 2013.
All right, Dave, give me the synopsis for 2013's Olympus Has Fallen.
What happens when a terrorist group tries to take over the White House? They succeed, apparently. When every single person trained to protect the White House fucking biffs it, it's up to one man, Mike Banning, to save everyone's weirdly incompetent asses.
It's true, and I had forgotten until right now that our main character's name is Mike Banning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, the guy who saves America is named Mike. So we open to Camp David, which is a presidential base or something. I don't know. And we're in the middle of winter with our head of the president's Secret Service detail, Mike Banning, played by King Leonidas himself, Gerard Butler.
Woo! I love that guy.
And he is boxing President Asher, played by Aaron Eckhart. You'd know him if you saw him. And all of this is hilarious because the two most recent presidents would hurt themselves just putting on boxing gloves. But
Oh my
I digress.
God. Can you imagine? One wrong step and it's just they're both donezo.
Piles of dust immediately.
Mustang, this is Big Top, bringing out the full package.
So the president and his wife and kid are on their way to some like political ass-kissing event.
Yeah.
And the kid wants to ride with Mike because Mike's cool, Blake.
Mike is cool.
Yeah, he defended all of Sparta. On the way, they're attacked by a tree branch. Or a whole tree. It's hard to tell. This thing was massive.
This made me laugh so hard because it set it up like something was going to happen, like a bomb was going to go off, but no, they just hit some ice on the road and it causes pure chaos.
Well, a tree branch falls on the first vehicle.
Yeah, technically, but then it's ice.
Yes, which causes the president's vehicle to pirouette through the side of a concrete bridge. Luckily, Mike is able to yank the president out just in the nick of time. But, he couldn't get the wife out, so that can only mean one thing, Blake.
Ooh, she's took the parachute route?
Time skip!
Jumping forward.
So we missed you for poker last week. Where were you?
Yeah, I know. I've been working the late shift. Non-stop action over there at the Treasury.
Now it's 18 months later, and Mike is working at the Treasury Department because, of course, he got fired for something as little as letting the First Lady die in a car accident.
They were like, hey, no, you're still like #1 Secret Service, bro. Like, don't worry. It's just, I can't look at your face because all I can do is see my dead wife in it. But that doesn't take away from how good you are at your job.
Yeah. Apparently, some important people from South Korea are visiting the White House. Why does that matter to Mr. I Got Fired from the White House? We're going to find out. Calm down.
Minister Lee is going to want you to issue a joint statement, Mr. President, threatening military action to get the North Koreans to stand down from the border and stop their missile tests.
So after nearly 2 fucking minutes of the South Korean envoy just driving, they finally arrive at the White House. And while we are forced to listen to really bad accents, a giant military-style plane is flying over D.C. And then 2 of the most advanced fighter jets in the world try to threaten it, but they get shot down, which is totally plausible. Stop asking me questions.
I don't understand a lot of what is happening because it takes forever to happen. This movie has no problem wasting our time.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to the White House and just all this stuff starts immediately happening.
Yes, we are definitely getting some action finally. Not like that. It's just in the movie. Don't get too excited.
Find Connor. Code red. Airspace 1 and 2 compromised.
So the Secret Service, sans Mike, of course, rushes the president and the South Korean guests to safety, which they point out is not protocol. Don't worry, we're preemptively filling potholes.
I noticed that too. They come and get the president to take him into like the safety vault. And he's like, hey, this guy's coming with. And like, Mr. President, sir, that's not protocol. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm the president. And I'm like, something bad's going to happen. They made a very big point of that.
Anyway, remember that giant military plane?
I do.
Now it's just firing on civilians in the street.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But don't worry, the cops who are out on the street are shooting at it with pistols, so I'm sure everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine, people. This giant plane with a huge machine gun picking off civilians. I got a 22 right here, right at my vest. And I'm going to beep, 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 beep,
take
beep,
it down
beep.
single-handedly.
Take it down. No worries, kids. Also, can I point out in this segment, I don't know why or how, but like the White House has like this uncanny valley effect to it where it looks really small. Like the grounds look really small.
Get down!
Also, Mike to the rescue. No, wait. The big military plane is firing on the White House now, when another Air Force jet finally shoots it down, and it knocks down that tall, pointy building in the process. Fuck you, I didn't feel like Googling it.
The Washington Monument?
That's the one. Anyway, it's finally calm, okay? So that was a really short-lived attack.
But wait, there's more.
I always speak too soon, don't I?
You do.
So a Korean strike team kabooms its way onto the White House grounds, which, like you said, feel very small, and they are killing everyone. Like, they are somehow overpowering the people who are uniquely trained for this very situation.
Dude,
nothing to see here, Blake.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
It's no, not moving on, because the people start showing up out of the woodwork. It's like the florist, the pizza delivery driver, everybody comes out with fucking Uzis and they're storming the White House. And I was like, what kind of coordination went into this?
No idea.
Hell.
So, remember the Koreans? The president insisted to be in the safe room with him when we said it was a plot hole that they were trying to preemptively cover?
I do, yeah.
Well, they are also able to overtake the people who are extensively trained to keep the president safe. And they also happen to have the help of one of the Secret Service members named Dave. And way to give us all a bad name, fictional character.
You're ruining Dave's for all of us.
But now, the president and members of his cabinet are hostages. I bet you're wondering what their plan is.
I don't care, actually.
Okay, well, keep wondering, because we have to watch Mike shoot his way into the White House.
Oh, yeah. This part rules.
Get inside!
Mike manages to get inside the White House, but literally every single Secret Service member are like moths to the bullet flame, and he's on his own as the Koreans are making their way into the White House.
Olympus has fallen. Olympus has fallen. Olympus has fallen.
But don't worry, the response team is here.
I have your commander-in-chief. Now stand down.
Who are you?
I am the man in control of your White House.
Yes, the response team is late. And yes, the bad guy Tokyo drifted his way into the presidential bunker. Get it? Because he's also the bad guy in Tokyo Drift.
Well, he's the bad guy in a lot of the movies.
Yeah, but that's the one I remember. So we're going with that one. Our villain tells the military general on the other line of this video call to stand down, and he just agrees.
He's like, okay. You got it, terrorist.
And to really drive the point home, they give us a 30-second scene of the villains taking down the American flag.
This is the most, like, make Uncle Sam weep type of moment that they can fucking muster. Just, like, make people watch these terrorists take apart the American flag. Star by star, bar by bar.
Banning is ex-Special Forces, Ranger Battalion. He will move mountains or die trying.
Well, hopefully mountains move when you shoot at them, but either way, Mike made it into a security room where he overrides the cameras, straps up, and then makes a phone call.
I love this. I love this because he's not only buff and can shoot guns and stuff and, like, tumble around in the White House, he can also, like, hack and stuff. He's really good.
And he calls in to Speaker of the House Morgan Freeman, who is now acting president, and he calls to bring everybody up to speed.
This is 2 movies where we get a President Morgan Freeman, and I'm here for it.
Love it. Basically what happens is the bad guys have rigged up all the doors and windows, and now they're looking for the president's son, Connor. So, of course, acting President Morgan Freeman tells Mike, you know what? Go ahead and wait.
My note for this part of the movie is, this is boring.
Oh, you want not boring? Here we go.
Sir, NORAD reports a Cerberus code has been entered.
So the bad guy's plan is to activate this Cerberus thing, which is like a military protocol. It's like a failsafe that can disable errant nukes. Why do the bad guys know about this? Who knows?
Dude, people just have information and just do things. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just happens. Shut up and eat your popcorn.
Yeah, and it looks like the bad guys want to control this Cerberus to get what they want. And what they want is to use the president's son to give up his code so that they can... There's more to this, but we'll get to it in a minute because Mike now is snapping into action to go find Connor.
Yeah, we got to save the children.
Why? Not sure.
Who is that? Mike Banning. Are we worried about him? Hell no.
Now that Mike has snapped into action, now the bad guys got to follow suit because they got to find Mike. By the way, I feel like I should mention they shut off all the lights in the White House for a better ambiance, I guess.
Dude, I also wanted to say this because everything happens in the dark. And I think that's on purpose because A, we can't see what's going on. I know the action choreography is not very good. But B, it also just makes it that much more boring because I can't see anything that's going on. I don't know who is who. I have no stakes in any of this stuff. I want to know why this kid has nuclear launch codes.
He he doesn't. They're just going to use him as like leverage to get the president to tell them his code because there's 3 codes.
I didn't understand any words you just said.
Great. So at this point, Mike is using the secret area between the walls that everyone knows about at the White House, and he fucking finds Connor just chilling in there. But like I said, everyone knows about this, including the bad guys. So they just start firing into the walls, which has got to feel really stupid and weird.
Yeah.
You know? Like, imagine being like, all right, I'm going to shoot at the wall.
Yeah, this part of the movie feels like like the White House version of like Clue or something. There's like secret passages and stuff, and they're trying to kill Mike and the son Connor. I mean, fine.
But now we have to watch Mike and Connor escape to safety and then run to the basement so they can get Connor out through a ventilation shaft.
Sure.
A human-sized ventilation shaft. Every secure facility in the world has one, Blake. Shut up.
The White House has full-sized air ducts that are just the size of like whole rooms.
Spark plug received.
Good job, Manny. Now let's see if we can get the president out.
After we find out that Mr. Drift is actually one of the most wanted terrorists in the world, because apparently that wasn't fucking obvious, it's time for a second Cerberus code to be gently coaxed out of someone.
Yeah.
And by that I mean Mr. Drift beats it out of the Secretary of State, who's like an almost elderly woman.
She gives him hell, dude.
Yeah, she does not go down easy.
Saying something 100 times is not as good as living it once.
Fuck you.
And also, Mr. Drift gets Dave, the Secret Service guy, to go kill Mike, but that doesn't go quite as planned.
No, this goes quite poorly.
This fucking Kane guy is crazy. How do you know his name?
Dave, the Secret Service guy, played like he also fought his way inside and almost tricks Mike, but gives himself away because, of course. And after Mike kicks his ass, he lets Dave, the Secret Service guy, atone for his mistakes by telling Mr. Drift that Mike is dead, and then Mike kills him. I'm not sure which part of that is the atonement, but we're not going to dwell on it.
I don't get any of this. If you're really that bad of a guy to like sell out the president of the United States, you don't feel bad. You've thought this whole thing. You're not sitting there like, oh, I feel really guilty now that I'm caught and I got stabbed in the chest. I guess I'll just do one nice thing before I die. No, fuck off.
No.
That's not how this works.
Nope.
The assault team is on the way.
Yes, sir. Copy.
So now that the military has a guy inside, they're going to utilize him by bypassing him entirely and sending in a strike team via 6 helicopters.
Thank God, Mike. We're glad you're in control over there. Just hang out. Feel free to whatever's in the refrigerator. Everything's fine. We're sending a strike team. Just chill.
And the bad guys have a drone that spots them because they're more prepared and smarter than the entire U.S. military, apparently.
I fucking hate this movie.
And guess what, Blake?
What?
They also have a massive next-generation machine gun that they somehow stole from the U.S. This is never explained, but everything is fine, I'm sure.
Nothing is explained in this movie, Dave. It just happens.
2 birds remain. Abort! Abort! Striker 1 is hit. Losing control.
The terrorist-controlled machine gun took out 5 out of 6 helicopters. Because instead of all of them attacking the machine gun at once, they did the martial arts movie thing and went one by one.
Now you go. Now you go.
Regardless, though, this whole event causes Mr. Drift to get mad and kill another hostage on camera and make his demands. Well, his second demands, because he already made his first demands, which is basically like, pull everything out of Korea and fuck off.
Yeah.
And so these secondary demands are a helicopter on the front lawn.
Oh, that's easy.
Where to? I don't know.
The Bahamas.
You're acting president now.
And I'm the best hope you've got. Okay, Mike, you got 30 minutes.
So Mike snaps back into action with totally enough time. After falling through like 2 stories onto a table, don't question it because being ex-special forces make your bones unbreakable. And he cuts off Mr. Drift's camera access, which causes him to send the Secretary of State out the front door so he can kill her on like live TV. But wait, Mr. Drift walked right into the mic trap. Basically, Mike was waiting at the front door and he kills a few more bad guys, but Mr. Drift scurries back into the bunker, which causes acting President Freeman to give in to every single demand for some reason.
What? Why?
Dude, I don't know. That is the best way to negotiate with terrorists, I've heard, right?
Give them everything.
Anyway, now the bad guys dress all the hostages in black hoods and walk themselves and the hostages out onto the front lawn and into the waiting helicopter.
It's okay. We have a tracking device on the chopper.
Well, the chopper go boom.
Well, I can't say I didn't see that one coming.
So the president is dead in roll credits, right?
Oh,
wrong, because this is America.
Fuck.
We get ours, damn it.
Come hell or high water, brother.
Basically, Mike doesn't believe that the president and Mr. Drift were on the chopper in a, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense scene. And he promises that this bad guy won't get away with it.
What are you doing?
Cerberus has been activated.
We haven't launched any missiles yet.
I don't need to launch them. Your country will be a cold, dark, nuclear wasteland.
Well, shit, maybe he will get away with it because he somehow hacked the president's code.
Yeah.
Which was the last and final code to operate Cerberus. And he is going to detonate all 2,000 plus American nukes in their silos, blowing up our entire nation.
Ooh,
which is
that sounds bad.
Great, because now I don't have to pay rent.
Oh, yeah, actually, I agree with this too.
Yeah.
God, you really put things in perspective, Dave.
I sure do. It's my job.
He's just opened the gates of hell.
Wow, dramatic much, Mr. Acting President?
Well, he is the acting president, so...
Ha-ha! Blake's got jokes.
Got theater jokes.
Anyway. It's Mike to the rescue. He pops out of the elevator right as the bad guys start to leave the bunker. And I'm sure you're asking, where are they going to go with every nuke in America set to blow up? Shut up. Because Mike kills the last 3 henchmen, and he saves the president. He almost saves the president.
Oh, he tried.
Yeah, because Mr. Drift shoots the president in the stomach, and now it's a street fight between him and Mike, not him and the president. That would have been just a little bit too unbelievable.
A little bit much.
It's a street fight with knives. It's a full-on dad boner fight.
Oh,
that was weird.
What?
I can't take it back now.
I have to take off my sweatpants. Hold on.
Moving on. Mike overpowers Mr. Drift and puts a knife through his skull, which is something he promised he would do earlier.
Yeah,
in the movie.
that's the thing that definitely can happen for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No
when
problem.
you're as strong as Mike Banning, you can just stab people through bone.
And thankfully, the president is still alive. He might be a skosh injured,
a little bit,
but alive is alive.
We'll let fate decide this one.
Cerberus activated. This is Banning. How do I switch this fucking thing off?
So the annoying military general walks Mike through the process to deactivate Cerberus, and it shuts off with no shit 3 seconds on the timer, which is also a good 4 seconds after he's finished inputting the deactivation code,
dude.
Which feels like a small bug to work out, but I'm not an electronics expert.
I have that note too. I was like, what are they using, a 56K modem up in this bitch? He types in the code to end the thing, and it just keeps counting down, and everyone's like, I guess we're gonna explode now, and it just stops with 3 seconds left. I was like, if there's a 3-second delay on that switch to turn it off, somebody fucked up.
Oh yeah, should be instant, but what do I know?
Are you ready, Mr. President?
So anyway, happy day. Mike saved the president in America, aka the whole world, and we end on President Asher hugging his son and then giving a presidential speech that's meant to get us all amped up for our country, but I can barely afford to live in this country, so no thank you. Anyway, we roll credits.
Fuck this movie. This movie was such a slog for me.
Yeah.
Because it was very dark. Literally, it was hard to see anything in the movie.
Yeah.
It was very, very serious. It took everything very seriously.
Yeah.
And there are so many points in this movie where little threads of narrative that I thought they were gonna take and use as a B plot, like the kid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's gonna have to protect the kid and all this stuff to the movie, and he's like, nope, found the kid, sent him up through the ventilation shaft, problem solved. And I was like, oh, we're just
winning.
Okay. This is all winning all the time.
Yes, because all I do is win no matter what.
This movie made me really have to focus on this movie.
Yes.
Truly, not to know what's going on. It's a very simple story, but my eyes were glazing over left and right on this thing.
Yeah, it forced you to pay attention when you didn't want to.
That was Olympus Has Fallen.
That was Olympus Has Fallen.
Thanks, Dave.
Good.
I hate it.
Great movie. You're welcome. Still upset that he didn't kick somebody in the chest yelling, "This is America."
It's just a missed opportunity.
Yes.
You know, we don't ask for much on this show.
No, we don't. So if you could just give in to one of our demands.
Yeah, 2013, get it together.
Well, Blake, I had a really great time torturing you with a movie about one man saving the president in the White House.
Yeah.
And then the whole country.
Yeah.
But I think it's time that we move on to you talking about a movie where one man saves the president in the White House.
And thus the world.
And thus the world.
All right, let's see what else 2013 has to offer us.
Come on, White House down.
Movie 2, White House Down, 2013.
I'm ready to hear this version of Save the White House. Give me the synopsis for White House Down 2013.
After getting denied a job with the Secret Service, deadbeat father John Cale takes his annoying daughter Emily on a White House tour when terrorists strike. Now John must save his daughter, and the president, and the White House. Oh, and preserve the nuclear launch codes and restore the rightful leader of the free world back to his duly elected post. After that, maybe some ice cream.
Great. All sounds like a day's work.
I also hate this movie.
Do you know that Abraham Lincoln was the first U.S. president who was in favor of women having the vote?
Yes, I did know that.
We open to U.S. President James Sawyer, played by Jamie Foxx, using your personal tax money to take the scenic helicopter route back to the White House.
Yes, which definitely sounds like 100% something a president would do, deviate from the flight path to see the Lincoln Memorial, which he sees all the time. Why not?
Every day.
Sure.
And that also has nothing to do with anything, but I thought you might need another reason not to pay your taxes this year, Dave.
I already have too many.
So there's a million characters in this movie, and we simply don't have time for it. So for now, we're just going to meet our bumbling hottie of a main character, John Cale, played by Magic Mike, who also famously plays Channing Tatum in real life.
Quiet night. We're under attack by squirrels, sir. They're organized and they have the numbers.
So John Cale is just a goofy Capitol police officer who should work better as a lowercase police officer, but I don't call the shots here. But if there's one thing John really wants in life, it's to show up for his daughter Emily. He's just got to get around the habit of not showing up for his daughter Emily.
Yes, it's just a small thing.
Character flaw.
Yeah, just tiny.
I thought you would want this, but
these are White House passes.
that might mean we're going to the White House, and that your dad here has a job interview with the Secret Service.
So John's got to audition for the Secret Service, or however that works. So he goes to the White House. Luckily, Emily, played by Joey King, is conveniently really obsessed with the White House, so he takes her along. This is objectively like a cool dad move.
Yeah.
Maybe buy her a fucking stapler and a fax machine too. John, kids love that shit.
I was like, yeah, I mean, this is cool if your daughter's a fucking nerd.
And she is. But we got to get to that big interview scene where Maggie Gyllenhaal gives us a giant exposition dump about how awesome John really is.
So you did 3 tours in Afghanistan, and you were wounded in the Kunar province. You received a Silver Star for pulling a Corporal Dawson from a burning Humvee?
That was an ID attack.
Okay, so we can't get mad at John for being a bad dad. He was too busy saving the Middle East.
Yes.
But saving the Middle East just isn't good enough for the White House because John gets denied his Secret Service job. Sorry, bud.
It's also really funny because he just happens to know Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, and she's like, I remember you in college, and based on your college self, I'm not letting you have this job.
That's a very great point, because if people were judging me based on my college self, they would tell me to put some fucking clothes on.
I'll start at the bottom. Just give me a chance.
I'm sorry.
So since John can't even start as a Secret Service fry cook, he decides that instead of admitting to Emily how much of a loser he is, that they might as well take a tour of the White House.
Sure. I mean, that makes up for it, right?
What other job do you get denied and then be like, can I still just look around though? Like, that's really suspicious.
Imagine being like, I know I didn't get hired here at McDonald's, but do you mind if I take a look in the back?
Yeah, like, oh, I know I can't be a butcher here, but can I have like 5 minutes alone with all the beef? Like, no, that's weird. Just go home.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, Emily is super stoked for this White House tour, but she also can't keep her shit together when President Sawyer himself shows up on the tour.
Oh my God.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question for my YouTube channel?
I guess that'll be all right. What's your name?
So... that was awkward.
Yeah.
And based on YouTube trends at the time, I thought she was going to ask him to be in like her Harlem Shake video.
Yeah, I was expecting something other than like the single most political question we've had in this movie so far.
I know. She's like, how do you expect to solve the Middle East problems with the Sunnis and the Shiites? And like, essentially, how do you achieve world peace? And tell me right now on the spot.
Oh, I love it.
And besides that kind of going off the rails, the rest of the tour goes off the rails very quickly when Emily goes to the bathroom.
Sir, we have a tour group on the state floor.
Hold them in the blue room.
What's happening? My daughter's downstairs.
Sorry, that wasn't Emily herself blowing up the bathroom. I didn't set that clip up very well. But at the Capitol building, terrorists have detonated a bomb, sending D.C. into lockdown.
Oh, Lord.
But at the White House, the tour group is pulled into a room separating John and Emily, who I presume is busy asking if the toilet would like to be on her YouTube channel.
And asking how it would solve world hunger.
But it's not just the Capitol we should be worrying about, because the call is coming from inside the house. The White House.
Oh.
sorry.
Security sweep, open up! 30 seconds. Secure aircom, meet at the rally.
Basically, men disguised as audio-video technicians start killing all the Secret Service men and guards at the White House.
Sure.
And how they got past the background checks, I have no fucking idea.
I mean, I feel like there's a couple of steps that this movie is just pretending don't exist.
It gets worse later when we find out more information, but no time to think because all hell's breaking loose. The vice president boards a plane, the Speaker of the House reports to an underground command center at the Pentagon, and our president... Well, he's Jamie Foxx, so I'm not that worried about him.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Then get me to the vault.
Diamond formation. Stay low, stay close, shoot first. Got it?
Gentlemen. What are you doing?
Spoke too soon, Dave, because when the president's security detail get him to his safe room, the guy leading the team, a geriatric man named Martin Walker, kills the rest of his security detail in cold blood. It was Walker behind it.
Consider this my resignation.
Of note, Martin Walker is an asshole, played by real-life asshole James Woods.
Yep.
Everybody's shitty uncle who isn't allowed near the kids' table anymore. You know, after that one time.
Yikes. Yeah.
Donnie, where'd you send my dog?
I'm sure she's fine. We're in the safest house in the world.
Well, not today, it's not.
Oh, man.
I love these. Anyway, we're back with our hero. Hell, my hero, John Cale. He's got to save his daughter to maintain the tax write-off, so he goes rogue. He gets a gun, does some jumping and a tumbling, and heads to find his daughter somewhere in the White House. But you know what he finds instead?
Terrorism?
Wow, yeah, that's actually it. Congrats!
Thank you.
Win nothing.
Oh.
But the rest of this movie...
Oh.
Sorry. John Cale bumbles his way into the super secret president vault and saves the president from James Woods' liver-spotted trigger finger.
Oh, God.
It's so dumb.
He just happens to go the right direction in this massive building.
Massive building is just like walking around with a gun, looking in different rooms and shit, and he happens to walk into the most secret bunker, like, in the United States.
Oh, God. In the world,
What's going
probably.
on in here? Hey, that's the president. I should probably save him. And now that John has president bargaining chip, I'd say there's a good chance he'll get reconsidered for a Secret Service job after all.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
He's the only one left alive, so...
He is the Secret Service at this point.
After a few action sequences and a lot of whispering, the president jams a loafer into the elevator gears to save their lives, and now they can call the Pentagon from a satellite phone.
Damn. We're just in an elevator shaft? You're just going to skip right over that?
There's a whole bunch of stuff. They're action, they're running from the bad guys, they get in the elevator and they're there for long, and the president's claustrophobic, but he has steel-toed loafers on. I don't know. It's a whole thing. The point is, they get in touch with the Pentagon.
Great.
Mr. President, are you all right?
We're safe.
We?
Hello, sir, this is John.
Cale?
John, what are you doing in the White House?
This is when you come in here and get us, right?
In the meantime, you have to get the president out of there.
Jesus Christ. So we learned that even though the fucking government is under attack, they can't send in the military for some reason, some red tape kind of reason.
Yeah.
And now John alone has to get the president out of there.
Oh, yeah. He's going to knock over a few people with his smoldering looks.
Including me.
Yep, that definitely tracks.
Whew. Can you get to the basement?
Yeah, sure.
There's a series of tunnels. JFK used them to sneak Marilyn in.
I'll take shit we didn't need to know right now for 1,000, Alex. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Why are we talking at all, really?
Truly. But either way, grab your steel-toed loafers, Dave, because John has to get President Sawyer to the underground tunnels. That's going to be their way out of the White House.
Yes, it is, for sure.
No problems there.
No doubt young Emily Cale had to risk her own life to
Can you get me the president here?
While John uses toasters and various other household objects to kill bad guys, we get an update on his daughter, Emily. Before she was taken captive, she was able to shoot some 480p footage on her phone of the terrorists and send it out to the press. This also helps the Pentagon discover who the terrorists actually are.
Yes.
It's angry white guys.
Angry white guys.
Who would have thought they were capable of storming a government building?
Not me.
Didn't see that one coming.
Didn't see that coming again.
I saw that guy at the Capitol this morning.
He runs a white power hate blog against President Sawyer.
Every day the Secret Service does a rundown of credible threats against the president. Every single one of these guys was on it.
Wait, this movie has the audacity to tell me that every single person they hired as an audio video guy at the White House was flagged and at the top of the list as an imminent threat, and they still got through.
Sure.
Still.
Of course, because they simply taped their pictures over somebody else's badge.
I don't understand this. I can't even get within 100 yards of a government structure because one little bathroom accident on a flag and on a person who was standing close. You know what? Never mind. Because John Cale and President Sawyer, they make it down to the sexy time tunnels, and there's a problem.
Nobody brought the condoms.
The exit tunnel's wired with explosives. Look, we need another exit.
We need a location right now! Stagecoach, follow me. Let's get to the stagecoach.
So the big plan is to get the presidential limo and cruise out of this whole situation in style.
Yes.
But as with everything in this movie, there's another problem. The front iron gates are closed, so this movie transitions to a segment I like to call the Fast and the Kale, Presidential Drift.
I think I'm seeing the presidential limo driving across the grounds.
The grounds seem really small in this movie too, by the way.
Bro, what's happening basically is that John and President Sawyer are being chased in their limo all around the White House lawn by the terrorists, but luckily, the president has a rocket-sized trick up his sleeve.
Hold with 2 hands, President.
Oh my God, that's President Sawyer. He has a rocket launcher.
This turned into a WWE entrance so fucking fast. It's President Sawyer! He's got the rocket launcher!
I have to say, I literally laughed out loud, like really super hard. Not so much at that part, but the part directly after where he comes back inside the vehicle and he goes, I lost the rocket launcher.
This sequence belongs in a museum. It's great.
Oh, perfect.
But the joke is ultimately on John Cale and the president because their limo gets hit by a rocket themselves, and the limo gets kick flipped into the pool.
Stay behind me. They won't shoot us. They need me alive. Put a gun in my hand.
So if that wasn't enough action for you, Dave, our heroes escape into the pool house where the bad guys shoot at it with a machine gun and blow up a propane tank bigger than my apartment.
This propane tank is unnecessarily large, and it has an explosion that is also unnecessarily large.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Whoa! Enormous explosion over toward the west wing. I don't know if this means the president has been killed.
Spoiler alert, the explosion, which was large enough to vaporize anybody within 30 feet, didn't kill literally anyone.
Strange.
Martin Walker just got his face a little dirty and needs a wet wipe.
Yeah, a little bit of ash.
Yeah, and speaking of wet, we get some backstory on why Martin Walker betrayed the president and set this whole thing in motion.
I am confused as to your choice of words there.
It's wet.
Walker has cancer. His doctors gave him less than 3 months. I think he's on a suicide mission.
We also learned that Walker's son was killed in combat as a result of the president's orders. On the other hand, Carol in the Pentagon bunker thinks there's something deeper going on because the bad guys are wiping databases and trying to get codes and maybe some money. It's all very confusing.
Yes, it's very convoluted, and I'm following along perfectly. Don't worry about it.
But luckily, there's some helicopters coming in to help us, Dave.
Love it.
Complete chaos here on the streets of D.C. Oh my God! U.S. Special Forces are flying over us!
And those helicopters immediately get hit with rockets and crash, which...
Perfect.
Like, you can't see all the rockets they have set up on the White House roof? Don't you have, like, satellites or something?
No, it's only the U.S. military, Blake.
I hate this. And while this entire travesty is going on, one of the terrorists, the obligatory, like, hacker terrorist, he gets access to NORAD, the missile agency of the government.
Sure.
He uses those missiles to shoot down the vice president, who is currently on Air Force One, which...
Insane.
I mean, I don't really care. But yeah, I guess that sucks, too.
Sir, we're under attack.
Rip. Anyway, now that the president and vice president are out of commission for now, the Speaker of the House gets sworn in as the acting president, and he has a plan. And it's a good one, too.
Is it?
General, how soon can you execute an airstrike on the White House?
Sir,
We can have Raptors on target in 10 minutes.
Then do it.
Let's go to work.
your first act as president is going to be bombing the White House?
This movie rules. So the speaker just wants to end this whole thing. So he's going to carpet bomb the White House and just start over again before the terrorists can gain access to the nukes and kill everyone.
Sure.
I don't think this is a terrible idea. Like, this movie wants us to disagree with it, but I don't really disagree with this move.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like to tell your father what Mr. Stenz here is holding in his hand?
A gun.
Now, Mr. Cale, I'm going to start counting here, and if you don't give the president up to my men by the time I reach 3, Mr. Stenz here is going to shoot your little girl.
Okay, so you remember our hero, John Cale? Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, from the big explosion ago?
Yeah.
Well, the bad guys are using his daughter, Emily, as their bargaining chip, and the president hands himself over to Martin Walker to save her, which,
sure,
dumb, but fine, I guess. And since the president handed himself over and that little airstrike is coming, John only has 8 minutes to get his daughter from the clutches of evil and get out of the way of the giant bombs that are going to drop.
Uh-oh.
What would you do in this situation? Your daughter's inside. You have a clear exit to just run out of there. 8 minutes.
Oh, I would definitely pull a John Cale here.
Would you?
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, I don't have a daughter. I never will, but right. I think if it was my niece, I'm killing every motherfucker in that building to get her out.
I just won't ever have sex again to make sure this never happens to me. Problem solved. You're
Problem
fucking
solved.
welcome, America.
Cale, Walker's trying to launch a nuclear attack.
If he does, it'll start World War III. You have to stop him.
Another thing. So while John tries to save his daughter, he now has to stop Martin Walker before he launches nukes and sends us into World War III, which I thought there was like 8 minutes to live, but whatever.
Sure.
I'm already here, so let's just keep going.
Yeah, 8 minutes is enough time to save your daughter and the planet.
All a day's work.
Cale.
But what John does, he kills one of Walker's lead henchmen by strapping like 10 grenades to his neck and
amazing.
pulling the pin, which seems like a bad idea in such a small area, but don't worry, Dave. There's a sturdy wooden podium a few feet away to keep him safe.
I mean, wooden podiums are famously saw trap proof.
No jail for you, you little bitch. No!
God, there's so much going on now. So John rams a car into the White House and uses a machine gun to turn Martin Walker into cheese of the Swiss variety, and with only seconds to spare before he launches the nuclear missiles. So he's dead, and that's cool, but we still have that giant fucking airstrike that's going to happen in a few seconds. So since John loves America more than he loves being a father, he goes to save the president, who's been shot, and tells Emily to run outside and save herself. But if there's one thing we learned about Emily, Dave, is that she's a dork and she's overly confident with things. So she grabs a flag and she goes running.
Delta 2-6, we have friendlies all over the kill zone.
No, baby, I told you to run. You gotta run.
What the fuck is she thinking?
No, see, that's the thing. I think a little kid would be dumb enough to think that's, you know, gonna solve the situation. Like, we won. Look, I have a see. Look, we did it. Look, you can see me.
I'm waving a flag.
I'm waving a flag. Watch.
Yeah, but no, that's not what happens.
Uh-oh.
Actually, that's exactly what happens.
Oh, okay.
We have a young girl on the lawn. I think she's trying to wave off the airstrike. Sir, requesting permission to abort. I'm not doing this, guys. Abort mission. Pull out. Abort.
Nope.
So to be clear, the acting president gave them orders to airstrike the White House. The pilot sees a girl waving a presidential flag, and without any orders, he calls off the airstrike himself.
Yes.
What if this is a setup? What if the terrorists were making her do this? They don't know any of that. Why is any of this happening?
The more pertinent question for me is not so much why is any of this happening, but is instead, how in the fuck is that pilot seeing this? Because it's not like he's flying 100 feet in the air where he could see a little girl. They're like miles in the sky.
The crowd literally lifts Emily up and praises her as a hero, and everyone at the Pentagon is cheering too.
Insane.
Again, fucking why? For all they know, the White House is still under siege.
Yeah.
Dave, this is the most frustrating part of the film for me.
They expect that we are not going to question that the Pentagon knows what's happening since we know what's happening.
Whatever.
Oh my God, are you okay? Honest, Dave. My wife got this for me for the inauguration.
So maybe in the biggest fuck you moment of this whole movie, President Sawyer, who was shot in the chest by Martin Walker, is miraculously okay because the bullet was stopped by his pocket watch that just so happened to belong to Abraham fucking Lincoln.
Bro, it's so what's even funnier than that is the fact that Jamie Foxx goes, Honest Abe took another bullet for me. Oh my God.
This was set up in the beginning, like he talked about his pocket watch,
Yeah.
and I literally said to myself, "That's gonna stop a bullet." 'Cause he puts it like right by his heart.
Immediately, I was like, "Oh yeah." Oh, yeah.
But it's not over yet. This whole thing isn't over because John Cale still has to expose the last piece of this twisted jigsaw puzzle. He struts out of the blown up and currently on fire White House to confront the acting president and Speaker of the House.
When did you and Walker cook this whole thing up?
Excuse me?
So how'd it go? You gave Walker the launch codes and he made you president.
You can prove this?
You were the only person with those codes. But you, called the return number on that, Carol. Guess it would have been better if all the evidence would have been destroyed in the airstrike that you ordered.
We learn that the Speaker of the House was behind it all the whole time. It's so earth-shattering that I just don't care and want this to be over.
It's great.
It's like a fourth quarter twist that is so unnecessary. I don't care about it.
You know what I didn't care about and thought was unnecessary was, why did they have to pretend the president was dead to prove this? Why couldn't the president come out and say all the same shit that John Cale just said?
Oh, we're getting to it because the Speaker is, of course, hauled away to be executed or something. I don't know what they do. But the real president, James Sawyer, makes his appearance, and all is good. John's daughter loves him again. The president loves him again. The United States loves him again. In the Middle East, can't wait to hug him.
Great, of course. That's exactly how it would go.
John finally takes stock of what a hero he's become, all in a day's work for an unemployed hot guy, and we roll credits.
Yes. After he invites his own child onto the presidential helicopter.
He's a hero. He can do whatever he wants. That was White House Down, Dave. A fever dream of absurdity that I can't believe got made.
Yes, I also can't believe it got made, mainly because this already happened earlier in the year in 2013.
Dude, there was a bidding war for the script. This script was bought for like $3 million.
What?
Yes.
Was the same thing true for Olympus Has Fallen?
No. I don't know if that's true, actually. It's very Michael Bay-ish, but with
very
like kind of like less style and tact or humor, but like very much in that vein. Also, take note, shitty dads. If your kid hates you, all you have to do is save the president of the United States from terrorists at the White House and cover a plot to nuke the foreign country and save democracy as you know it. So chop chop.
Sounds super doable.
Also pick up some milk while you're out.
Also, make sure your New Balances are tight.
Not too tight to cut off, circulation. We still want healthy feet in this family.
Yes.
We have a genetic predisposition for circulation problems, but we can only do so much.
It's fine, yeah.
Yo, fuck these movies. Let's get to the Thunderdome.
Let's fucking do it.
Movie versus movie. Welcome to the Thunderdome. This place fucking rules.
Oh my God, Blake.
Oh my God is right. We're back in the Thunderdome, and I refuse to work for the government in any capacity.
Oh, shit.
But before we watch these movies, Dave, you and I decide on 5 things that we both agree make a good genre movie. In this case, dad action movies.
Dad action movies.
So let's go through them.
All right.
Number 1, we need an exciting dad premise.
Get in, loser. We're going dadding.
Number 2, we need a protagonist your dad wants to be.
If you're a dad, you can totally do this.
Number 3, we need an over-the-top antagonist.
Why don't the bad guys ever want just like a Starbucks gift card?
Number 4, we need insane action.
Action boner!
And number 5, we need a wholesome ending.
Aw, happy ending.
Mm-hmm. So getting right into it, we're talking about exciting dad premise. And what's not to love about the premise for White House Down? It's a hot dad, down on his luck, gets to save the president, America, and the world as we know it. But on top of that, and more importantly to dads, John regains the love of his daughter.
Aww.
We got guns, explosions, America, dads, and loafers, and I just don't know how this could be any more palatable to dads.
Well, I think...
Oh...
that it could be more palatable to dads if they didn't have to think about their children and could just focus on the gobsmacking amounts of action. Like,
what?
In Olympus Has Fallen. Come on. An ex-Special Forces guy sneaking into the White House after it comes under attack and single-handedly saving the president, country, and the day. These theaters were filled with weird baseball caps and New Balance shoes for sure, okay?
Smells like grass clippings for days. But I don't know. Your premise lies on the fact that you think dads want to escape from their family.
Yes.
And my premise lies on the fact that I think dads want to be not only a hero for their family, but a hero for everybody.
But yeah, okay, fine. We'll just go ahead and move on to protagonist your dad wants to be. I mentioned this a little bit in the last point, but Mike Banning in Olympus Has Fallen is absolutely the protagonist that your dad wants to be. He's an ex-Special Forces, Secret Service badass. He's an incredible shot with great knife skills for some reason. And he has a wife who is relatively happy. And anyway, dads see Mike Banning and they're like, oh yeah, I want to be him. In fact, I could be him.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Mike Banning is such a boring ass character. He's got no like spunk to him. He's just like really serious all the time. I don't know. In White House Down, John Cale, I think, is exactly who your dad wants to be. First off, handsome as shit. Second off, he's flawed, but only in the way that he loves his country too much, you know?
Aww.
But third, he's not only capable of saving the president and being cool under pressure, he also has the ability to win back the affection of his daughter just by being his awesome self. What a stand-up guy, and everyone's dad is just dying to be him. I can feel it, you know?
I mean, can you?
No. But but I think he is a really, really great protagonist for this style of film. He's just serious enough, but has the goofiness and like lovability when it comes to it.
I would say that he does feel just believable enough for this movie and not too over the top, if you will.
Yeah, a bit similar to our over-the-top antagonists. With White House Down, we're not dealing with just one menacing antagonist. We're dealing with a lot of them, and they all have their own character arcs, which is why this movie's 4 hours fucking long. They are also all fucking ridiculous. It's basically a group of the worst kinds of humans out for their own self-interest, whether it be money, power, revenge, or they just had no plans on Saturday this afternoon. But these guys are bubbling with one-liners and over-the-top reactions to very simple problems. They're always yelling and screaming and like flexing and stuff. It's a lot.
I would say their actions are over the top, but I don't think they necessarily as people are over the top because people just always look out for their own self-interests. However, in Olympus Has Fallen, Kang, or as I like to call him, Mr. Drift, is about as over the top as they come. This man is a North Korean spy, or I don't know, not even really. He's just like a crazy person who decided to dedicate his life to pretending he's a good guy just to get the opportunity to attack the White House and then literally destroy the entire U.S. with their own nukes. He also doesn't mind beating the shit out of older ladies, apparently. Not to mention his penchant for shooting people in the head on camera. Textbook over the top he is.
Yeah, I'll give it to you on this point for sure. Kang is like so mustache twirly as a villain. He's like, ha ha ha, I've waited my whole life to do this. I've been coming up the ranks just so I could get this opportunity. And yeah, I don't feel like any simple like rationale to why they're doing things. Like everybody in White House Down has like, you know, character and backstory. This guy just is like pure evil for evil's sake and stuff, and it's crazy. He's fucking insane.
Which, taking that word, insane action. Come on, the action in Olympus Has Fallen is absolutely insane. You have a military C-130 that somehow got past all of the defenses that we have, and it just starts shooting everything before getting shot down. A strike team takes over the White House with guns, bombs, and garbage trucks. You got hand-to-hand combat, you got insane marksmanship, you have knife fights, and don't forget about the 6 military helicopters getting shot down because they didn't have a plan of attack. There is barely any downtime in this movie between insane action moments.
I agree with you, but I think for me, with Olympus Has Fallen, the action feels so like white noisy. It feels like there's so much stuff going on all the time and it's so dark that I can't like latch on to anything too much. You know, there's a lot of the same kind of action happening throughout the whole movie. You know, it's very, very much a similar style of thing. So for my money, I'm not sure the action gets any more insane than with White House Down. And I'm going to tell you why. We have terrorists blowing up the Capitol. We have hand-to-hand kitchen combat. We got guns, propane tanks exploding, presidents with rocket launchers, grenade necklaces, Abraham Lincoln's bullet-catching pocket watch, and of course, steel-toed loafers, my favorite of the entire show. So you name it, this movie has it, and it's all unbelievably absurd, which makes it memorable, insane, and against your point, this is a bunch of different kinds of action. It's not just the shooting, running, stabbing kind throughout the whole movie. This is a lot of stuff going on in different kinds.
I mean, I guess.
I'm just saying.
But I think, different kinds of action may be a little bit too confusing, where one kind of action just make you feel good.
I do like to feel good. And you know what made me feel great?
What?
The wholesome ending of these movies.
Aww.
Mostly my movie. As previously mentioned, White House Down nails the wholesome ending of dad action films. John Cale takes down the bad guys, uncovers the plot, returns the rightful president to power, and earns the love of his daughter. The only messy thing about this is the fact that they need to rebuild the Capitol and the White House, and like thousands of people are dead and litter the grounds of DC, but we don't have to think about that because we're cruising on a helicopter and we don't have to look down on all those bodies. We're just looking up towards the sky because on top of this, John probably got that Secret Service job he wanted.
That'd be so funny if he didn't. Still like, sorry, bud.
We'll be in touch. We'll contact you. Don't call us.
Well, okay, fine. But listen, the ending in Olympus Has Fallen isn't so much wholesome as it is quote-unquote patriotic. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mike saves the whole country and South Korea, by the way, as well as the president and the president's son. And after we see the president walking out of the White House wounded, but with his head held high, we see him reunite with his son, and then he gives a speech about rebuilding or whatever. And we basically end with a handshake and googly eyes at Mike. And I believe it's meant to make us feel love and sense of duty for our country. And I gotta say, it did not work.
I was like, where are you going with this, Dave? Did you visit a booth at your local supermarket? Sign up for the military?
I have too many hip problems for that.
I agree. It felt like more propaganda than like a wholesome like ending, I guess. It just felt like, America.
Yeah.
You like this, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a fine ending, appropriate for the movie itself. But yeah, the whole thing was just kind of like, ugh.
Well, that brings us to the end of the Thunderdome, Blake. You want to just hop on into the finish line and save this episode?
There's no saving anything, Dave, but we'll finish it at the very least.
Hey, look, we did it. It's the finish line. We're at the finish line. Can I go home yet? All right.
Okay, Dave, we've made it to the finish line. The country and the world is saved, and our main characters probably still have jobs. And maybe, I don't know. I don't really care about this stuff. I just want this to end. So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I think I want to go first this time.
Okay.
You know, going into this episode, I had this distinct memory of how Olympus Has Fallen was the better movie. Like, there was this whole thing about, in the zeitgeist, about how these movies were up against each other. And, like, everyone's, it's the same movie. And I just remember distinctly people saying, oh, yeah, Olympus Has Fallen was way better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Gerard Butler is a way better actor than Channing Tatum. That's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, I was like, where's the bar here?
Super low bar. But I do remember hearing that. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I absolutely do not think that Channing Tatum and fucking James Woods, that movie is going to beat out This Is Sparta guy and Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight. Yeah, I went into this and I was like, yeah, this movie feels very not great. This movie is not as good as I remember. This is very weird. And then I watched White House Down. And I was like, oh, no, this movie is so stupid and cheesy and like one-linery. And I'm like, fuck, no, this is... But then literally into the third act, things started happening that made me laugh. Like I was laughing and it was laughing at stuff they wanted me to laugh at. So I'm like, what? Wait, what? And then... with the whole like daughter being proud of him thing, it actually made me a little emotional. I'm like, but this movie actually made me feel things? Fucking what? That's crazy. It's Channing Tatum, dude. But Channing Tatum won my heart over on this movie. So I have to say that because it made me feel something, White House Down is my pick for first prize film for dad action films.
All right. That is a very fair choice. And I want to push back on you a little bit. I understand why people gave Channing Tatum a lot of shit when he's kind of coming up. I think he's really worked on his craft. And I think, you know, he's come a long way as an actor. So I think this movie is fucking ridiculous. I dislike both of these movies greatly.
I know you do.
Like a lot. I think they're both insane and absurd. But I'm going to cut right to the chase. My choice for first prize film has to be White House Down. It's just more fun. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's lots of action, lots more to keep my attention. Like I said it earlier, Olympus Has Fallen. It just felt like this overly serious, boring ass slog that couldn't handle more than one basic storyline at a time. It was so hard for me to pay attention. And White House Down just had these insane moments. Is that the president with a rocket launcher? I laughed so hard. Dude. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Yeah. And I wouldn't say I liked it, but Olympus Has Fallen is the deep impact of presidential action dad movies, and White House Down is definitely the Armageddon of these kinds of films. And
yes,
there's a reason. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it is more entertaining. Either way, White House Down is our unfortunate pick for winner of first prize film this episode. The daddest of action films. The daddiest of action films.
Nope. I knew it. Fucking
sticking with it.
Damn it. I could not get the words out fast enough.
Call me Channing
Tatum.
I
have failed you, listeners. Hey, First Prize listeners, thanks for tuning in this week. Thanks for saving the president, apparently, with us. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed hearing us fight through the stupidity, consider subscribing to our socials. It's at First Prize Pod on all platforms, and that includes Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. We're on TikTok and YouTube as well. Also, don't forget to check out our website. It's firstprizefilms.com.
Yep, we do this for free because we've been dodging our taxes for years, but if you'd still like to support us, consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, anything helps. Join us next episode as we pretend to be young again with these young adult novel films.
Oh boy, we're talking about Divergent from 2014 versus The Hunger Games from 2012. Oh, that was pretty good. I can't whistle.
No, you can't. It's very annoying. See ya!
Bye. Yeah. What would you, Dave? What would you?
What would I, Dave?
What would you, Dave?
Probably do.